Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today. And today, the Houston Astros lose to the Texas Rangers 1-0. And this is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't lie on this channel at all. I keep it real. And I've seen this year with this team, not playing at its best abilities this year. I've seen ugly comments. I've seen it on my channel. I've seen it on Twitter, that's where it's the worst. I mean, for Christ's sake, last week, one of our pitchers gave up 7 earned runs, and someone threatened to kill his kids. So there have been a lot of negativity toward this team this year so far, and that's what it seems like it always is when this team is playing bad. And I always try to stay positive, and I'm not going to be one of those guys that looks at this game and says, "Oh my God, we suck so bad, and we're so screwed, and this team is they're falling down, they're drowning, and they're drowning." I had someone who commented on my channel, on a certain video, yesterday, complaining about the team. The funniest thing was he did it. This guy did it mid-game when the Astros were down 2-0 against the Royals, and he's complaining about the way the Astros are playing in the game, and the way Colton Gordon's pitching. And the funniest thing is the Astros come back and win the game, and I didn't see the comment until after, and then I replied, and so it's just, yes, people overreact so much, and that's why I don't like to get like that where these fans, or I some of them I don't even think are actually fans. They're just bandwagons who can't stand to see this team lose. So I try to always stay positive with this team. But this loss really, I'm gonna get honest, really pisses me off. It really does. This is the second time this year a pitcher for this Houston Astros pitching club has gone 8 innings in a complete game, which it wouldn't be a complete game for either one of these pitchers if this offense really showed up, because we saw Framber Valdez. It was in Kansas. My bad. It was in Kansas City a couple weeks ago, end of April. We saw him go 8 innings, and he only gives up 2 earned runs, and the Astros still lose. They don't score any runs. Tonight, the Astros go up, with Hunter Brown defending them, and he puts on a show. One of the best games I think I've ever seen Hunter Brown pitch. I thought he was phenomenal tonight. I've seen Hunter Brown pitch some great games, but I thought this was the best game I've ever seen from him, or one of the best games I've ever seen from him. He goes 8 innings with 9 strikeouts, and absolutely killed them tonight. The Rangers offense didn't know what to do. They only had 3 hits. They only scored 1 run. Jake Berger sent a home run out to right center in the 6th inning. That was really the only momentum the Rangers ever had in this game against Hunter Brown. And I honestly, I would love to know what happens in this game if Jake Berger doesn't hit that home run. This game, that might have lasted a long time. It really, and look, I told you guys, I told everyone before this series started, this is gonna be a long series. If you don't like hitting, if you like hitting and you like runs being scored, you're not gonna like this series for either one of these teams. If you're a fan of either one of these teams, these two teams are one of the best They have one of the best pitch. Both of these teams, the Rangers too. I'm gonna give them credit. I'm gonna give the Astros their flowers too. Have some monster pitching on the starting end, and I think for the Astros, mainly on the bullpen, this year has been really, really good. The Rangers as well for both of those things. It's going to be a lot of good pitching in this series. And on top of that, both teams have terrible hitting. To me, if you ask me, I think the Astros are a little bit better when it comes to hitting. They out-hit the Rangers tonight and are still without Jordan Alvarez. But they cannot – I don't even know how many times this year this Astros team – that's another thing that pisses me off – they get a bunch of hits, they out-hit their opponent, and actually are hitting the ball really well. And I'm not saying they did that tonight, but they did out-hit their opponent and still not score enough runs to win the ball game. Here's a great example. And this is like I'm going to throw out this example, but this was a win. Last Friday, the Astros played the Reds. They won 3-0. This is another Hunter Brown start. They won 3-0, which, funny enough, all the Astros shutouts this year have come into Hunter Brown starts, but could have had another one tonight. But you know, you saw, you saw, you know, you saw this Astros team score 3 runs and win 3-0 against the Reds last Friday. They had 12 hits. That's the type of performance I'm talking about, where they get a bunch of hits and they don't score runs. Tonight it was 5 hits and not scoring any runs. To be fair, they didn't have any walk. They only had 1 walk tonight, so they only had 6 base runners. But it's still at the same time, this is a game the Astros should have won. But I will give them one small excuse. That's Jacob deGrom, and that's what I'm gonna get into. Before I get into Jacob deGrom, we'll go over this real quick. 1-0 is final score. 5 hits, 3 hits for the 5 hits for the Astros, 3 hits for the Rangers. 1 error in the ball game that went to the Rangers. 0 for the Astros. Now I get into Jacob deGrom. He gets the win. He's 4-1 the year now. He also went 8 innings tonight. And look, to me, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, was Jacob deGrom much better than Hunter Brown tonight? I think I would. I don't think it'd be crazy to say that Hunter Brown might have outpitched Jacob deGrom tonight. They both went 8 innings. deGrom gave up 2 more hits than Brown did, and the only difference was that Brown gave up an earned run, and deGrom didn't. Brown had 2 more strikeouts. deGrom gave up a walk. Brown didn't. So I don't know. Both pitched extremely well in this game today. But it wouldn't be crazy to say, just like the Astros out hitting this Rangers team today, the Astros out pitched the Rangers. But the problem is the Astros can't score runs. So, but yeah, that's definitely frustrating. But here's the one little excuse I give this Astros offense today. And this is where this really hurts this squad. And that's why at the trade deadline, maybe this team needs to consider, going after some left-handers to add in left-hander batters. Because Jacob deGrom absolutely murders righties. Murders them. With Yordan Alvarez on the injured list, the Astros have no lefties. Well, to be fair, they have Cesar Salazar. I mean, I hate to go there. That's basically the 13th guy on the roster. But Joe Espada, think about it. deGrom, pitches a little bit softer to lefties than righties. I'm not saying he sucks against lefties, but he kills righties, and he's not as great against lefties as he is righties. I don't know. I think Caratini tonight did bat lefty because he's a switch hitter, and he had 2 hits off of deGrom tonight. That he was 2 for 3 against deGrom tonight. Hit a double, hit a single. I don't know. I'm just saying, Joe Espada, maybe you should have potentially thought about bringing in the only left-handed hitter, Salazar, out there to get a couple at bats against deGrom. That would have not been a terrible idea. But I think Yordan Alvarez would have had some success in this game tonight if he was out there. That's unfortunate. And I know he's probably thinking to himself, I could have really helped out tonight, but it's unfortunate. Just not ready. Just not quite ready to. He might get back in this series, but just not quite ready to get back. Scoring summary is pretty simple. We already went over the one score that happened. It was a Berger home run, 394 feet for Jake, and Astros offense. 8 games in a row for Jeremy Pena where he's got a hit. I mean, yesterday was unbelievable for Pena, where it was his first ever 4-hit game, went 4 for 4, 2 RBIs for this Astros offense, and that was great to see for him. A single to center today was all we saw for Pena, and this shows you how nasty deGrom is. Pena is a guy who had a big strikeout problem last year, and he worked on that in the offseason and has really slowed down his strikeouts and has been much better with that this year. He struck out in his first 2 at-bats today. It's not something you've seen a lot from JP this season. Jose Altuve went 0 for 4. Look, I pop out, line out, struck out, ground out. I'm going to say Jose Altuve has a good performance tomorrow. Who's on the mound tomorrow? Nathan Eovaldi. That tells me that you could see a really fun performance for Jose Altuve tomorrow. Isaac Paredes went 0 for 4 today. Ground out to pitcher. 2 flyouts, pop out. Christian Walker went 0 for 4. He's really struggling right now. Yanner Diaz went 1 for 4 at an infield single. Victor Caratini, like I mentioned, went 2 for 3 in a walk. He was great. He's really the only offensive guy that showed up tonight. Zach DeZenzo went 1 for 3. He did have a walk, So this Astros. Oh, sorry. The Astros had 2 walks tonight, not one. He had a walk in the second and a single to left in the seventh. So solid for Dezenzo. Jake Myers went 0 for 3. Dubon went 0 for 3 after hitting 2 doubles yesterday. Hunter Brown was the only guy to pitch today for the Astros. Just preview tomorrow, Lance McCullers Jr. versus Nathan Eovaldi. I think Lance McCullers Jr. is going to have a little bit of a bounce back than what we saw last weekend. I'm not saying this guy goes out there and kills the Rangers tomorrow, but I think the Rangers have shown they're not great offensively. That can be an easier task for Lance. And I'm going to predict that maybe he goes 4 or 5 innings for this Astros offense and maybe can, limit his earned runs to maybe 2 or 3. I'm predicting he has a little bit of a bounce back. The command is still terrible. But I think the good thing about it is if Lance struggles, this offense is due to bounce back. And so maybe this offense could back up Lance if he struggles. I think that's the positive thing of this offense struggling today. And we know Jose Altuve is going to try to show up tomorrow facing Eovaldi, a guy he's killed his entire career. So, I'm excited for it. Let me know your thoughts on this Astros 1-0 loss. This one hurts, but we'll see if the Astros can bounce back tomorrow. The Astros never really play well when they play on Apple TV, but maybe that can change tomorrow. That's a video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Astros.